So, Brad, I guess I'm having another vacation in Iowa, huh?
Lots of things that we're trying to emulate here in Bettendorf in our next phase to marry our city to our greatest resource, the Mississippi River. And I think Dubuque is an example of how that can be done really well. We have some local neighbors here in our region that don't do this type of work, and I think it shows. It's the people of Iowa, the way we treat each other, the way we work hard. If you come here, you will find out you want to be here.
Welcome to Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities. I'm Dave Martin. With me, as always, is my host and your mayor of Dubuque, Iowa, Brad Cavanagh. Brad, welcome.
You almost forgot my town there, Dave.
I almost forgot your town. I've been to your town. I can't believe I did that. And thanks for pointing that out. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's the solid professionalism that we bring to Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities for the Iowa League of Cities. So usually you introduce our host, but today I'm going to take the honor because the last time I was with our guest, we were sitting there enjoying some libations at a previous conference. Bob Gallagher, Mayor of Bettendorf, good to see you again. Welcome.
Yes, great to be on with you, Dave. And you got a city up there, Brad. It's okay. It's a big one. It's not a little town. We love our friends from Dubuque.
We love you guys too, Bob.
All right. So the reason why we're talking to you is because you are the host of the upcoming League of Cities conference in Bettendorf coming up in September. Yeah, baby. I'm excited.
Yeah, baby.
There we go. What's going to happen?
Yeah,
what are we doing?
We're excited to host everybody here in the city of Bettendorf, Iowa, and in the Quad Cities, September 23rd through the 25th. In fact, we've got lots of new things this year. This is going to kind of turn the conference on its head, if you will. We've got experiences for come early and or stay late. We want you to see everything that was in that hype video we showed at last year's conference. Great opportunities for self-guided entertainment and tours. Experiences such as the Rock Island Arsenal experience, the John Deere Commons experience, the Village of East Davenport experience, and the Tangled Wood and live music experience, not to mention some of the historic destinations that will be an experience of their own. You can build these experiences and pick and choose what experience you want as your mini vacation here in the Quad Cities. All those details are on the Iowa League of Cities website and the mobile app. And you'll see that Visit Quad Cities has done an awesome job partnering with us to show you all that the Quad Cities has to offer. That's new and different. We'd like you to spend a mini vacation with us here in the Quads.
So, Brad, I guess I'm having another vacation in Iowa, huh?
Yeah, baby.
I think you're ready for one. You know, first of all, let me just say, that is a great second hype video there, Mayor Gallagher. I'm loving this. Like, I want to go now, so that's great. But Dave, do you realize that you've actually been to Bettendorf?
I did not know I had been to Bettendorf.
Do you know this? Yeah. So, Dave, on your last trip, you came to my son's football game.
Yes.
At Pleasant Valley. So you made your way through Bettendorf to be able to
get Bettendorf. Pleasant Valley is a school district in Bettendorf.
Yeah. So you're right there.
Another true Iowa experience. Friday night high school football out at the school, and hey. Your son had a good game.
Yeah, it was not his best game, but he knows that, and he made a lot of improvements after that.
Well, after that, we worked on it a little bit. We did a little practice, he and I.
I learned a lot from you about long snapping.
As a former long snapper in high school myself, we were able to go out and throw the ball around, so that was good.
Yeah.
So
that could be a big ticket. You know, Casey Kreider is a North Scott alum, and he's still in the NFL doing.
Trust me, Bob. My son is aware of this. Yes, he's heard it from his coaches.
All right,
fingers crossed.
So we got a lot going on. Looks like it's going to be quite the conference, and I can't imagine a better host. What are you most excited about, Bob?
Well, I'm most excited about taking people from the conference center. This will not be your normal conference where you're sitting with your colleagues learning about some topic. We're going to take you to the places so you can learn on site what it's like, so you put that knowledge to use. We're going to talk to you about how to build an economic development mecca. We're going to talk to you at the TBK Bank Sports Complex about tax increment financing and how that can create a wow project like it did for us. We're going to take you to the Mississippi. We're going to show you what we do for flood mitigation. We're going to talk through all of the things with the Corps of Engineers right there on the banks of the mighty Mississippi. We've got outreach on wheels. Think about jumping in a bus to go to some of the most unique hands-on experiences in the Quad Cities. We'll take you to the downtown where we're starting a redevelopment project. We've got a nice piece of ground with a great developer to work with. We're in the infancy stages, and we'll talk about how we're moving that forward. And then we'll talk about the importance of quality of life with tours to our learning campus and our new landing, the pool and skating area. All great things to get out of the classroom, to visit what's cool here in our community and learn from the experts that put it all together.
So, Brad, you are upriver from on the Mississippi, from Bettendorf downriver. Do you guys work together nicely? Any rivalry, like, upriver, downriver?
I don't really feel any upriver, downriver rivalry, really. I think we're okay. I know that the Quad Cities has such a unique space to be able to have, you've got 4 different places right there, 2 on one side of the river, 2 on the other, and you've got the ability to be able to work together and see a lot of different things. And, every one of those cities has its own flavor. And I know Bettendorf does too. And I'm really excited to see all that, Bob, because I think that those mobile workshops, as the conference always calls them, those are the best experiences, to be able to get out and actually see what you're doing and talk about how you pulled that off. You mentioned the TBK Sports Complex. Everybody talks about the TBK Sports Complex. I mean, the fact that you guys got that done when you did is sort of, that is one of those things. I'll go back to your question, Dave. That's, if there's competition, it's like cities trying to take those ideas from each other and replicate it back home. But that's exactly what we do well in government. We steal each other's ideas and just get it done for the people where we live.
Absolutely. Imitation, flattery. We love it. And we do work well together. We don't have a lot of projects together between Dubuque and Bettendorf, but we try to mirror some of the great things that they've done on their riverfront. Boy, what a transformation you put through with the museum and all the cool stuff that you've got going on. So lots of things that we're trying to emulate here in Bettendorf in our next phase to marry our city to our greatest resource, the Mississippi River. And I think Dubuque is an example of how that can be done really well. We do compete at the high school level in sports.
Absolutely. Oh, no, that competition is
fun. Yeah. That's where it should be.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Yeah. Well, listen, it sounds like it's going to be quite the trip and quite the conference. So looking forward to that. But we do have to talk a little bit about business. Things seem to be going fairly well in Bettendorf. I actually listened to your State of the City speech. Just
worst one yet. I was sick 2 days before and went home to bed right after it. 14 years of doing it. I was a mess, but nobody can pull it off because I was the one working on it.
You did not appear to be sick to me. Oh. So I think standing up on the stage is a natural spot for you, if I may say so, Mr. Mayor. But I want to ask you a couple of things about what you talked about, and again, good government. First of all, the most important question is, how is the Big Leplowski?
The Big Leplowski has been named. We got a couple of new named snowplows. So that's kind of a cool thing we do for the public works day. Bring the kids out and feed everybody good food and have a little fun with naming either a recycling truck, which we did a couple years ago, or a snowplow.
And it's the Big Leplowski.
One of the two is the Big Leplowski.
That is amazing. That's an amazing name. I love that.
I think another mayor is a little jealous of the Big Leplowski. One of the things that, and I think both of you mayors are dealing with this, is growth. And one of the things you talked about in your State of the City speech was smart growth and doing it correctly and with good quality. Let's start with you, Bob. How are you managing that in Bettendorf? And then, Brad, you can jump in and talk about how, you're doing it as well.
So I think it's more important now than ever, because the Iowa State Legislature has changed some of the rules around our collection of property taxes and capped at least the general fund levy at 2%. That forces us to pay our people that do all of our services at a 2% clip increase each year. And clearly that's not going to cover their increase in pay. So making sure that orderly growth and quality development go hand in hand so that there's not a skip out past TBK Bank Sports Complex, for instance, where services have to be provided there to new housing developments instead of the ground that's closer to the center of the city, and a housing development there is very important. It's also very important to have some infill development in some of the areas of the town that have become aged. The infrastructure's, kind of fallen behind. We'd love to be able to continue those projects because we already have services there, and to increase the value of that property helps us in the property tax collection so that we can keep our general fund levy where it is. It's the second or third lowest in the state and has been for the 15 years I've been mayor. That is a great selling point to the people of Bettendorf. And the only way to do that is through increased growth. We need the same 150 new single-family residents each year. We need one senior living facility every couple of years. We need new apartment buildings so we can offer the way people want to live in Bettendorf.
Does that make sense to you? And are you doing something similar in Dubuque?
Yeah, it makes great sense. And yeah, I think everybody kind of looks at this in their own unique way based on their circumstances. Our circumstance in Dubuque, specifically around the topic of housing, was we just simply did not have enough at all. And we recognized that really back at the beginning of my first term, and just hit the gas and started to allow for more housing in every part of the city. We made sure that the rules were clearer, easier path to be able to get that housing built, use things like tax increment financing to get it done. And I think it was a responsible way of moving it forward. But it was the recognition that if you don't have places for people to live, you will not have people coming to your city. And I think that we've really been hitting that pretty hard. And then, you have to focus both on business attraction and at the same time business retention. So making sure that the businesses that you have are doing things that they're getting what they need from the community, so you can actually have them growing in the way that they want to grow, while you're also inviting new jobs into the community at the same time. So yeah, I'm very much in agreement with what Mayor Gallagher is pointing out there.
I think there's a good formula for it. It's the struggle of ensuring that the formula can be
right
accessed. We need to continue to work to make sure that just because there may be a tool in the toolbox doesn't mean you're going to have a developer show up and say, I think this is a great idea. Once you start to build that momentum, we've seen some great momentum by the TBK Bank Sports Complex. It almost goes so fast, you're trying to control it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you just got to keep up, which is a great problem to have.
Absolutely.
But you even pointed it out. You want to make sure that all the growth isn't just in one place. You need to be focused at the same time on, for us, it's been a lot of focus on our downtown core, because there's a recognition that without a really vibrant, strong downtown, it's going to be difficult for the rest of the community to grow. And we're both in a similar situation where you don't have four sides to grow from. You basically have three. You got to kind of think about that in a different way, when the river is one of your assets, but also a major boundary that you have there.
True.
Well, that's something I wanted to bring up, and you both touched on it, is attracting new business. I know, Brad, from being in Dubuque and riding around downtown with you, you pointed out, this is the new building, this is the new brew pub, this is the new restaurant, this is the new shop, this is the new craft center. And Bob, it sounds like that's something that you're doing as well. And certainly watching the video, you seem like you've got a lot of places to dine out. How do you both attract new business, and how can you tell other mayors, especially the challenge of downtown, how do you keep that going on an upward trajectory?
In Bettendorf, it's going to be a blank slate. We've got two developers who now control most of the ground, almost every piece, west of the I-74 bridge, a very new bridge. So we've called it, this is very innovative, the West Bridge Project. But hey, as we move to the West Bridge Project, we are excited about the types of opportunities that we have there, because it's in the downtown. And if we can continue to lift the downtown, it's a heavy lift at times, but we've got a great downtown business organization headed by Ryan Jancy. He's a local. There's a lot of enthusiasm for those businesses there that are investing back in their own downtown. But we have kind of a dilapidated area there. Now it's a blank slate. So we are hoping to see a development agreement here probably this summer from our developer friends. It's a marriage of public and private money and the use of every single incentive you can get your hands on, because projects now are so expensive, especially the type of project that you really want from the ground up, because of the cost of steel and the other costs that go into creating a really cool area. So those feelers are out to attract new people, but it's really that public-private partnership, because we're not good at putting the buildings together and bringing in the business. We are good at coming up with ideas and marrying things that we can do, like a refreshed riverfront with some cool amenities that will draw people to want to live there, and get those incentives if they're available. And the only one we have as cities in the tool chest is this tax increment financing. So we're lucky that the state legislature didn't mess with that, and we still have one tool left.
Yeah.
Well, there's the housing tax credits too. This group just applied for some workforce housing.
Yeah, and I would say it's a bit of a chess game, really, when it comes down to it, because you have a lot of moving parts to get that done, and so much of it comes down to the relationships that you have. Locally, you got to keep those relationships strong, and then you got to have relationships at the state level in government, the federal level in government. You have to have business leaders who have national relationships or regional relationships that might be able to bring some new people into the community, or new jobs or new businesses. But it is, you kind of pointed a bunch of those out there, Bob, where you're talking about tax credits, you're talking about incentives, you're talking about public-private partnerships. And there's just a lot of moving parts that you have to be able to manage to do it. I think one of the most important things that I've learned is along with the importance of those relationships, is the importance of having the right people who are, focused in the right direction on all of those different things. And in a city our size, we have some benefits to be able to hire those people and do those things, to be able to have the relationships you need. For instance, in Washington, where I last saw you, Dave, those types of things.
You've got that person, or had that person. I think she retired, but I think you were the envy of the region, if not the United States, with the amount of money Dubuque brought back from the federal government with, I forget her name. Maybe you can refresh my recollection.
Yeah, it's Terry Goodman. We've had her on the show.
Terry Goodman.
Yeah.
I wanted to hire her from the day I met her, and I never got it.
Terry's really ready to retire, but boy, she loves what she's doing,
Oh, she's so good at it.
Yeah. And, I think it's interesting because I appreciate you saying that, Bob. I mean, I know that, somebody like Terry is so important, being able to do that. But at the same time, one of the things that I've learned in working with Terry and watching these kinds of things happen in Dubuque is that it is something you can replicate in every different city, large and small. There are ways in which you can build those relationships at the government levels and then relationships with business that can make things happen.
I agree. But she's such a great example.
Yeah, she is.
And her relationships are strong.
Mm-hmm. One thing I want to ask both of you, because you're both on the Mississippi River, how does that help? And what is the challenge of having the Mississippi River as your city's border?
Well, we have a very interesting combination of about the same amount of people on the Illinois side as on the Iowa side. Dubuque, you kind of are much bigger than East Dubuque or those towns that may be on the other side. The interesting thing is the different political climate in the two states. It couldn't be more diverse. So there are years where our friends on the Illinois side are doing really well, and we may not be. And it's not been that for the last 15. So what we experience is, if people have the means, if people want to be within the Quad Cities, but they want to live someplace other than Illinois, they're moving. That doesn't help our region. When the business in downtown Rock Island or East Moline or Moline wants to move to the Iowa side, that doesn't help our region. We really have to look at this like a New York, if you will, with different boroughs. We're all in this together, except at the state level, the politics are so different that those folks are getting money for all kinds of things that on the Iowa side would never happen. So they have opportunity, but nobody takes advantage of the opportunity. And we wish that our developers had some of that opportunity, but they don't, because of state incentives and the way they spend their money. So here, it's great because it's a great place for recreation. We feed the world, 60% of the grain that feeds the world goes down that Mississippi River. It's the largest working river in the world. 20 million Americans drink the fresh water of the Mississippi River. I spent a lot of time with Brad with the Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative. There's so much positive, but the negative here is two different states. If we could bring them all into Iowa, then we'd have the same rules as we try to fight crime, as we try to build industry on the river, as we try to do all of the things that we all do in a city.
How do you get along with your Iowa neighbors, Brad?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because we actually have three different states that we work with. I mean,
yeah, you've got Wisconsin right there too.
Illinois, So you're working with three different departments of transportation. You're working with three different legislatures, three different governors. It is unique. What's different for us is absolutely what Bob pointed out, though. The cities on the other side of us are pretty small. On the other side of the river, but it doesn't mean that we aren't talking to them and working with them as often as we can, because we definitely are. But it provides for some unique situations, and just the fact that the river is so important to the world in the United States. And I think one of the biggest benefits that we've seen in the last couple of decades is that we recognize the importance of the river again. It wasn't just a place where it's not just for industry or it's not just for recreation, but it is something that needs to be a combination of both. And it is incredibly important asset to places like ours. So I think that's been just that recognition has been probably the most important awakening that we've had.
I agree with that. And it's an interesting statement to over the last few decades, how things have changed on the river. All kinds of cool stuff happening with your marinas and things there for recreation. I know the owner of one of the marinas, and you've got great schools, higher education there in the area that I think help buoy Dubuque is such a great region. We're trying to capitalize on that kind of stuff here as we look forward to what can the river look like? How can we more embrace our greatest asset?
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about that you touched on is you have a annual strategic planning session. I think you said it was a 3-day session where you get together and go, what's the path forward? Tell me how that works, because that sounds like very good government.
I think it's very good government, and I think that it's really important. We have some local neighbors here in our region that don't do this type of work, and I think it shows. This is a time where we get together on a Friday starting at 4, go to 10 o'clock with our department heads. They report to us, kind of a SWOT analysis with a out-of-town conciliator who helps work through all of this stuff. The same person we've used for 20 or 30 years, Lyle Summick. And I don't know, Brad, if you know Lyle.
We use Lyle too. We do the same thing almost.
Yeah. So we get that information, work all day Saturday to try to figure out where our priorities may lie and what do we see on the horizon. We try to think really big, 5, 10, 15 years down the road. For 10 years, a youth sports complex was my number one priority. We finally got it done with the help of a developer. So it takes long-term stuff. We worked on the I-74 bridge for 35 years. So you have to keep in mind where you really want to go down the road and what policies do you want to follow to make the city what people here want it, as well as your vision. So it works fantastic. 3 days. It's not a lot of fun to come down to City Hall for 3 full days, but I enjoy the people with whom I work. I really enjoy the fact that they're very spirited and conscientious about where they want this place to be and how we can get it there. And I think it's really important to spend that kind of time together, to have your disagreements there so that you're not having it in the press where somebody's calling you an SOB. We do a lot of other purposeful planning to keep us together and do good things. Disagree all you want, but let's keep it civil, which has been really hard in politics over the last several years.
Nobody calls mayors SOBs behind their back, do they?
No.
Never.
They just do it on Facebook.
I just don't want to shoot. I mean, call me what you want. Just don't be violent.
Right.
One more thing I wanted to talk to you about is tell me about your Citizens Academy. This is excellent government.
Yeah, we've been doing a Citizens Academy since before I was elected, 16, 17 years. We do it once a year now. 30 folks come in, 6 weeks, and they get kind of a Government 101. What does Bettendorf do for the citizens who live here? They first I get to talk to them first and talk about being the mayor, and then we do legal and finance, and the city administrator will speak. And then they get to do these mobile workshops that I'm so fond of that we're putting into the conference this year, where they get to go to the wastewater treatment plant. They get to go to the Waste Commission of Scott County. They get to find out where the composting is done. They see all of these things, these services that they get because of our cooperative effort, at least on the Iowa side of the Quad Cities. The sewer treatment plant serves 4 cities. Go there, figure it out, learn what happens when you flush the toilet. People come out of this Bettendorf 101, if you will, our Citizens Academy, really pumped about the good work that the people do in the city. It gives our department heads a great opportunity to talk to 30 people and sell what they do. It gets them some new skills if they don't have them on public speaking and interaction with the public. And it gives us an opportunity to cultivate volunteerism. These people come out pumped. They sign up on a volunteer sheet. I want to be a park ambassador. I want to come serve the Civil Rights Commission. Because getting volunteers these days is really difficult. This is a great inroads, and it's a fantastic program. I agree.
Wow, that sounds pretty great. Brad, anything you want to ask the mayor before we jump into our questionnaire?
No. I just want to point out that there is one other level of competition here that I think everybody should know about, and it's that Dubuque is hosting the Iowa League of Cities annual conference next year. So
I'll be there.
I'm going to be watching. Oh, you should bring the boat up. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to be watching really closely to see how we do. But even after the hype video last year, I don't know. We got to step it up.
Well, you guys get your hype video together, but we are going to have fireworks at the president's reception over the Mississippi River. That's something you can do as well.
Yeah.
That's all kinds of cool stuff. We can't wait to have everybody come to the quads.
Yeah.
Oh my. Dubuque the following year. I got a lot of Iowa.
Get your travel plans.
Yeah, you better
come see us, Dave.
Yeah, well, if it's in Dubuque, I got to go, no matter what. All right, so we have a bunch of questions, just a few questions, really. We like to ask every mayor to get a real handle on, their thoughts on Iowa. So tell me, what makes Bettendorf a true Iowa city?
People. We know that if we can get you to come visit Bettendorf and the Quad Cities, you are much more likely to come move here, move your business here, look for a job here, because it's the people. It's the people of Iowa. The way we treat each other, the way we work hard. If you come here, you will find out you want to be here.
Wow.
Yes,
Iowa
I love
nice.
that answer.
Iowa
I love
nice.
that answer. All right. What does good government look like in Bettendorf?
I think it is purposeful, relationship-driven conversation. You have to create opportunities for people to get to know one another outside of City Hall and, while sitting at the dais. We go after every city council meeting to a restaurant. We got a place in the back that we always have. Put some wings and some nachos on the table and talk about anything other than government. My kid got married. I'm going to Lake Okoboji. I got a job interview. Anything, so that we continue to get to know one another in a purposeful manner, so that when we get those conversations that are difficult brought to us by a citizen, we don't throw each other under the bus. When we have a very difficult conversation where we may be split 4-3 for good reasons, it's for the reason in which you believe and not because of some relationship thing. And we don't get people calling each other names at the dais like some of our neighboring cities do or did. Hopefully that's going to be gone. But it's really purposeful, though. You have to create the opportunity. It's not like 25 years ago when you're walking around your neighborhood. People don't do that. You have to create opportunity for this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
The show is called Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities. Tell me about a good government project in Bettendorf you're really proud of.
Well, it's really easy to grab the low-hanging fruit and tell you the TBK Bank Sports Complex, because that was something that I had dreamt about for 10 years. We had done pro formas on 2 different occasions, and I tried to get council convinced that that was the right way to do it, to bring in an operator. They didn't understand some of the dynamics and weren't willing to take the risk, and that's understandable. But we had a local developer come in and say, I'm going to do this. We helped to bridge what we wanted and what he wanted into the project. We helped to find different funding mechanisms, and we helped by doing the stuff that cities do well. We did streets and sewers at our cost for the project and got paid back through tax increment financing portion of what we gave to him. That is a great way to sit down and find out. If we taped every one of those conversations, that guy's a hard charger and uses language, colorful language. We would have had, but you could see how in the room, 2 people who use a little colorful language, the developer and our city administrator, put together an opportunity where both won. We thought we'd be repaid in 8 to 10 years. It took 2.5. Our citizens were made whole immediately. That's the kind of project you need to be proud of, because it worked. And now phase 2 is almost complete. We're looking at phase 3.
That's a great story.
All right,
I would love
Brad,
to be a fly on the wall in those conversations.
Oh, my God. I took Jeff Ryder. Jeff was our assistant city administrator, and I was going in because I was in the negotiations too, but I wasn't really, those 2 personalities. And I said, Jeff, don't say anything. Just listen. And when we're done, we'll debrief. It might be interesting. It's going to be short because it's going to start loud. I need $10 million. I mean, it was a nice, they are great people, and when it worked out fantastically.
Oh, that's great. All right.
This is the best question Brad's going to ask you, and I have a feeling we're going to go on for about another half hour with the answer to this one.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
What is your favorite place in Bettendorf?
Well, I've got a lot.
See, I told you, half an hour, Brad. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go get a coffee.
It's hard to beat being on the river in a boat. But if you don't have that ability, it's hard to beat sitting down by the river. There's a nice path at Leach Park that I used to go to in high school, and we'd hang out there. It's just a really cool spot where you get to be one with nature and enjoy the river. There's another cool spot in Devil's Glen Park where you overlook Devil's Glen, the creek there. It's pretty cool. I love live music at the Tangled Wood. And my good friend Craig Wagner put together a really cool amenity. They have outdoor lawn seating and a huge spot for folks to enjoy live music. I think there's just a lot of cool things that happen around here. My favorite restaurant, kind of hole in the wall spot, Sports Fans Pizza. If you come to the conference, you got to go to Sports Fans. It is great food, reasonable prices. There's some cool stuff that happens here. And I'm looking forward to what I hope will be my new favorite spot, the West Bridge Project, as it comes along, because we're looking at all kinds of ways to access the river in a more positive and enjoyable way.
Well, I don't know about you, Brad, but I'm giving Bob Gallagher the award for the most favorite spots in one city.
I'm not surprised at all.
No.
This has been great, Bob. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, Brad, I respect the heck out of you, and I enjoy the time we get to spend together. I'm excited to see you when you come down. I missed you at Dolores thing for Mike Doyle. He's a real good friend of mine. We went to law school together, but I wanted to run you down there and missed you. So it's always good to see you and great to have a conversation with you.
Yeah, thanks.
Bob Gallagher, the mayor of Bettendorf, Iowa, and the host of the upcoming Iowa League of Cities annual conference in Bettendorf in September. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
We can see you.
All right, Brad, as always, a pleasure chatting with you. And hey, to Mississippi River Cities, it's great to hear you working together. So good to talk to you both, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks a lot, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Now that you've listened to Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities, make sure you listen to The Good Government Show, another show from Valley Park Productions. On The Good Government Show, I talk with mayors, commissioners, and leaders from across government about what works. We talk about what government means and how we can get the best out of government. So join me right here where you're listening now to The Good Government Show. That's our show. Thanks for listening. Join us again right here for the next episode of Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities. Make sure you like us and share us with your friends. Follow us on Facebook. Leading Iowa is a Valley Park production in association with the Iowa League of Cities. The show is executive produced by Katie Wheeler and Brad Cavanagh for the Iowa League of Cities. Jim Ludlow, Dave Martin, that's me, and David Snyder are executive producers for Valley Park Productions. Our show is edited and produced by Jason Stershic.